You all come to us young people for hope. How dare you? You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words.
Greta Thunberg there. That was almost 2 years ago at a UN climate summit. Well, the teenager has another lecture for us. Just hours after Joe Biden's global climate summit began, she testified before a House Oversight Committee urging U.S. lawmakers to, quote, act on the science.
We'll give you a closer look at Biden's climate objective and whether Greta Thunberg approves. We'll bring our panelists in. Catalina, John, Wendy. Good to see everyone back here. John, I'll obviously start with you. Apparently, Greta Thunberg not impressed with the administration's climate policies. I'm going to play you a clip from her comments. This was yesterday.
If you compare the current so-called climate policies to the overall current best available science, you clearly see that there's a huge gap. It is the year 2021. The fact that we are still having this discussion, and even more that we are still subsidizing fossil fuels directly or indirectly using taxpayer money, is a disgrace.
Just a clip, but not impressed with Biden's plan, apparently, from that clip. John Thomas, your thoughts?
You know, while I appreciate her passion, certainly at that young of an age, it's disappointing that the left is using her as a pawn to drive the left's radical agenda, because Greta's agenda really is no different than that of AOC's Green New Deal. I mean, if Greta had her way, she would be outlawing cows and burgers, cars would be outlawed. I mean, it's interesting, I guess, to hear her opinion, and if she believes in it, good for her. But lawmakers hopefully aren't being swayed by what the left are propping up as this pawn.
Yeah, you know, she actually acknowledged herself that she's not a scientist. Take a look at this.
Nor am I a scientist. All I can do is to urge you to listen to and act on the science and to use your common sense.
So again, acknowledging that there, I know everyone's kind of making light of it here, but Wendy, you know, you wonder how much heart our, you know, leaders and lawmakers are taking to what she has to say, when again, we're just trying to follow the science here. It might be best to actually listen to a scientist.
That's true, Emma. But on the other hand, it is also true that we listen to interesting speakers. I mean, Greta Thunberg is now 18. She looks about 8. But this articulate young advocate, this climate advocate, is really just so passionate about climate activism. So it's telling that she testified yesterday on Earth Day. But it's also true that she's not saying anything very different than what some Democrats would like to see happen. And this is a receptive audience, particularly right now, because we are left acknowledging both our vulnerability and our interconnectedness after having survived the COVID-19 pandemic. So the timing of it is also critical here, and that perhaps there would be more of a receptive audience now than when she testified, remember, in 2019 after having crossed the ocean in a solar-powered boat. Pretty dramatic. But you do actually have a little bit more receptivity now than then.
Well, as we pointed out, and really as Greta had pointed out for us so eloquently, she has no scientific or economic background, but here's her prescription for a perfect world.
And the simple fact, an uncomfortable fact, is that if we are to live up to our promises and commitments in the Paris Agreement, we have to end fossil fuel subsidies, stop new exploration and extraction, completely divest from fossil fuels, and keep the carbon in the ground.
In subsidies, stop all extraction, divest from the industry. She's in a hurry to get it done. But realistically, what does that do to the economy? And I think most Americans are asking to the economy here in the United States. Catalina.
Yeah, it sounds like we need a young activist to be passionate about free enterprise and how overregulation and overtaxation is actually destroying the American dream for kids all over the country and globally. And I think ultimately, to Wendy's point, you know, people are receptive. Ultimately, the lawmakers, particularly the squad, they're setting this up as a foundation to push their Green New Deal. But ultimately, I'm more concerned with Greta Thunberg going on, you know, Teen Vogue, talking about these issues penetrating into a younger crowd here, talking about these issues, when in reality there's so much more that needs to be talked about. And she's quite the actress, as we've seen. It's good that she has passion, but ultimately we hope that there's common sense in the American people to judge just how kind of out of line some of these proposals are.
Yeah, well, we hear from other climate activists. I think of John Kerry, and yet we see him travel on a private jet. And we know how much emission that releases. All right, Catalina Loft, John Thomas, and Wendy Patrick, always appreciate your commentary. Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
Hi, Emma Reckenberg here. If you like this video, there's a whole lot more to see on Newsmax TV. You can watch for free right here on our YouTube live stream and be the first one here each time our experts break down real news. Just hit that subscribe button, ring the bell icon, and stay with us on America's fastest growing cable news channel, Newsmax TV.